You and your child aren't cute at all. Get out of this house right now, my mother-in-law yelled. Huh? This house says that. I paused, confused. Understood, I said, and I started packing my things. My husband, Matt, looked surprised and worried as he watched me. Hey, you don't have to leave like that. But your dear mother told me to leave. I have to follow, don't I replied. Matt, don't waste your time with her. Come here and let's have cake, my mother-in-law said smugly, clearly proud of herself. I silently made up my mind. I would leave, take my daughter, and go back to my parents' house. My name is Jennifer. I'm 34 years old and work in an office. I married Matthew 2 years ago. We met on a popular dating app and became a couple after a year of dating. My husband, Matt, is kind and caring, but a little unreliable. When we were dating, he would plan fun dates and find restaurants I liked. After we got married, he helped with chores and brought me my favorite desserts when I was tired. A year after getting married, we had a lovely daughter, and Matt was very involved in taking care of her. I thought I had found a wonderful husband, but, of course, nobody is perfect. One of Matt's biggest flaws is that he's a mama's boy. At first, I noticed it when he talked about food. How's the food? I asked. It's good, but my mom's was a bit richer, he replied. I was surprised that he suddenly brought up his mother. As we talked more, it became clear that he thought his mom's cooking was the best, and he wanted me to cook like her. So, I tried making the dishes richer, just like he liked. Even when we went on trips, Matt would ask, what should I buy for my mom as a souvenir? I thought it was strange he only mentioned his mom, even though his dad was also around. Wouldn't it be more normal to say, what should we get for my parents? But no, it was always about his mom. At first, I thought it was sweet that he cared about his mother. After all, many men are mama's boys. But soon, I realized that his attachment to his mom was far beyond normal. I think we should live with my mom, my husband said out of nowhere. Wait, what? Why all of a sudden? I asked, surprised. It seems like my mom and dad are getting divorced, he explained. What, really? Yeah, apparently it's because my dad cheated, he added. I was shocked. My father-in-law always seemed like such a nice guy, but I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. It's sad to leave my mom alone, my husband continued, and if we live together, she can help take care of our daughter. That made sense. I was on parental leave, and with my mother-in-law's help, I could return to work sooner, but I was also a bit worried. My mother-in-law liked me, but would we get along if we lived together? I shared my concerns with my husband, and he reassured me, don't worry, it'll be fine. My mom was praising you, Jennifer. Hearing that made me feel better, and I thought maybe we could get along living together. However, I quickly realized how naive I had been. When my mother-in-law moved into our apartment, her attitude completely changed. She suddenly started being rude. I can't believe you get to live in such a nice apartment. It's so annoying, she said. Huh? Don't forget that you have this life thanks to my son, she yelled. I didn't understand why she was so angry, but I quietly replied, well, Matthew works hard and helps with chores, so I'm grateful. Her response wasn't totally wrong, so I just said, yes, I'll keep that in mind. At least you're obedient. That's good, she said. From then on, she would get mad at me over the smallest things. Why are you using soy sauce on the fried eggs? You're supposed to use sauce. The bath is lukewarm. Make it hotter next time. Why isn't there any ice cream after my bath? You should always have some ready. She barely did any housework even though she was home all day. I had hoped she would help more with our 1-year-old daughter, But she only did it when she felt like it and lost interest quickly. Living together was much harder than I expected. I realized that my mother-in-law's overprotectiveness toward her son was even worse than Matthew's attachment to her. "Matthew, how was work today?" she asked. "It was tough. My boss was on edge because we were so busy, so I had to be careful," Matthew explained. "Oh my, that's unforgivable. Should I protest to your company for allowing this power harassment?" Really? Over that?" Matthew looked surprised. "It's okay, Mom. We have to forgive and be patient," he said. "Oh, what a kind child you are. Just like an angel," she exclaimed. It felt strange to hear her call a grown man in his 30s an angel. "Thanks, Mom. But if things get worse, I'll ask for your help," Matthew replied. "Of course," she said, eagerly. It was ridiculous that she was ready to fight his battles at work, all based on his mood. I regretted agreeing to live with her and felt like I might go crazy if I stayed in the house all the time. So, I decided to put my daughter in daycare and return to work. When I told my mother-in-law, she got angry. "Why do you have to work too?" she snapped. I replied, "But you can enjoy having the house to yourself, right?" It seemed like she liked the idea, so she just said, "Don't neglect your housework," and didn't get any angrier. Dealing with her was exhausting because I never knew what would upset her. Luckily, my stress levels went down once I started working and spent less time with her, but about a year after we started living together, a new problem came up. It was my daughter's second birthday. We had a small party with cake and gifts. But my daughter had entered the terrible twos, and her mood swings were at their peak during the party. "Come on, here's a present. Open it," my mother-in-law said, handing her a gift. "No," my daughter shouted, pushing the present away. My mother-in-law was surprised by my daughter's reaction, but she held back her anger, thinking the cake might cheer her up. She scooped some up with a fork and tried to feed her. "Here's your favorite shortcake," she said. But again, my daughter said, "No," and swatted the cake away. The cream flew and landed right on my mother-in-law's forehead. "That was it," my short-tempered mother-in-law snapped. She shouted at my 2-year-old, "Enough. You're acting out because I've been nice to you." Startled, my daughter burst into tears. "What are you doing? She's just a child," I said as I quickly hugged my daughter to comfort her. "Shut up. What an unlovable grandchild," my mother-in-law spat. "Well, you're an immature grandmother," I shot back. "What did you say?" she yelled. It was shocking. No adult should talk to a toddler like that. "Shut up. You're such a disrespectful daughter-in-law. Can't you fix that attitude of yours?" she screamed. As we argued, my husband finally joined in, but instead of defending us, he sided with his mom. "You should be protecting your daughter, not hiding behind your mother," I said angrily. "We can always have more kids, but I only have one mom," he said. I couldn't believe my ears. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. What a horrible thing to say. "Hey, don't talk bad about Matthew," my mother-in-law cut in. "Neither you nor your child are cute. Get out of this house." I stopped myself mid-sentence. This house," I began but then paused. "Understood," I said calmly, and I started packing my things. My husband looked flustered and said, "Hey, you don't have to leave." "But your precious mother told me to." "Right, I must obey," I said coldly. "Matthew, don't waste time with her. Come eat cake with me," my mother-in-law said, smiling smugly. That was the last straw. I silently vowed to stand up for myself, took my daughter, and left to go back to my parents' house. I ignored the several calls from my husband and focused on what I needed to do. I prepared the divorce papers and sent them to him. He filled them out and sent them back, so I submitted them to the city office right away. Then, I called my now ex-husband. I submitted the divorce papers, so thanks for filling them out. Yeah, so me and my mom can keep living in this apartment. Right, you left on your own, he said. Sure, as long as you pay the rent, I replied. Of course, this was the apartment you rented, so I was worried when you left, but I figured I just need to change the lease to my name. Thanks for providing a comfortable place for me and my mom. I'm glad it worked out, I said. By the way, how much is the rent? Well, let's say about 150,000 yen, I said. What? What are you talking about? Tell me the actual rent. Don't joke around, he snapped. I'm not joking. That's because I'm the owner of the apartment. What? We talked about it when we got married. Remember? I made a lot of money in stocks a while ago and bought this apartment. You must have just assumed it was a rental. Matthew went quiet, clearly shocked. If you can't afford the 150,000 yen rent, I'll just sell the place. The apartment will sell quickly. Wait. If you sell it, where will my mom and I live? I don't care. You better leave quickly, or I'll report you to the management company. With that, I hung up, blocked his number, and later demanded child support through my lawyer. According to the lawyer, Jennifer's ex-husband looked tired and worn out. It must be hard for him, both mentally and financially, to pay child support while also supporting his mother. His mother even came with him to the negotiations, and the two of them spent the whole time blaming each other. It's your fault, they kept saying. Their close relationship, which had seemed so annoying before, fell apart quickly when they lost their comfortable lifestyle. Maybe their bond wasn't as strong as it seemed, but that wasn't Jennifer's problem anymore. On the other hand, Jennifer sold the apartment for a surprisingly high price. She saved all the money for her daughter's future and now works hard while living with her parents. She hopes to find love again someday, but for now, her main focus is earning as much as she can for her daughter. She also promises herself not to be overbearing or intrusive in her daughter's life, like her former mother-in-law had been. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.